Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Let me ask you something. What if I told you there's this old school legendary organic fertilizer, kind of a secret passed down through generations, that could make your garden absolutely take off? I'm not talking a little boost. I'm talking explosive, lush, what are you feeding those things kind of growth. The kind that makes your neighbors peek over the fence like, what on earth are you doing over there? Now I know, you've heard stuff like this before. You work hard, you haul compost, you water, you pull weeds, you do the work. But sometimes your plants still look tired, a little pale, like they're begging for something more. So today we're putting a legend to the test, fish emulsion. It's stinky, it's organic, and it has a huge reputation for delivering wild plant growth. But does it live up to the hype? We're going to break down the science. I'll show you exactly how I use it, and we'll find out together if this funky smelling stuff is really the secret weapon your garden's been missing. If you're into gardening tips that actually work, and not just trendy fluff, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I post videos like this all the time to help you grow smarter, not harder. Stick around, because the results might just blow your mind. The gardener's dilemma. Why your good garden isn't great. Let's just be real for a minute. We have all been there. You look at your garden and you feel like you've done everything right. You followed all the advice. You spent a whole weekend hauling bags of compost, mixing it into your beds. You picked the perfect sunny spot. You've been watering like a champ, checking the soil moisture. And your garden it's fine. Your tomatoes are producing, but the fruits are just okay. Your zucchini is growing, but it's not that monster you see on Instagram. Your leafy greens look a little bit yellow, a little tired. They're missing that deep, rich, vibrant green color that just screams, I'm healthy. It's honestly frustrating. You put in all this love and work, and the results are just meh. It can make you wonder what you're doing wrong. There's this common idea, especially for us organic gardeners, that if you just add enough compost, your job is done. People think a natural garden shouldn't need fertilizer. We picture a forest, right? Leaves fall, they break down, and it's this perfect self-sustaining system. But here's the key thing most people miss. Your vegetable garden is not a forest. A forest has had centuries, maybe thousands of years to build up its soil and nutrient cycle. Your garden is an artificial space where we are asking our plants to be Olympic athletes. We want them to pump out huge amounts of leaves, flowers, and fruit in a tiny 3 to 4 month window. That kind of intense production sucks an incredible amount of energy and nutrients out of the soil. Think about it this way. A pro marathon runner can't hit their peak performance just by eating a pretty healthy diet. They need specialized nutrition, protein shakes, electrolytes, supplements to fuel that intense activity. Your garden plants are those athletes. Compost is their healthy, balanced diet. It's the foundation. It improves soil structure, adds organic matter, and gives a slow, steady release of nutrients. It's absolutely essential. But in the middle of summer, when your plants are trying to grow like crazy and set fruit, that slow release from compost often isn't enough. They're hungry, and they need a quick meal, right now. And that's the spot so many of us get stuck in. You want to stay organic, you believe in building healthy soil, but your plants are showing you they're hungry. They need a boost. They need something more. And that's where our secret weapon comes in. This is where we introduce a powerful, fast-acting, organic tool that can bridge the gap between a good garden and an absolutely great one. This is where fish emulsion enters the story. Unveiling the secret weapon. What is fish emulsion? So the idea of using fish to make plants grow better isn't some new trendy garden hack. This is an ancient practice. We're talking centuries. There are even records of farmers in ancient Egypt using fish parts from the Nile River to feed their crop. But maybe the most famous story is from 16th century North America, when the Native American Squanto taught the pilgrims to bury a fish under their corn seeds to get a great harvest. They knew back then what we're rediscovering today. Fish is a powerhouse of plant nutrition. So what is this stuff you buy in a bottle? Modern fish emulsion is a liquid fertilizer made from the byproducts of the fishing industry. After fish are processed for food, there are parts left over: bones, scales, skin, you name it. Instead of being wasted, those parts are put to good use. They're typically broken down with heat into a thick, concentrated, nutrient-rich liquid. That liquid is then strained, stabilized, and bottled. And that's fish emulsion. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Or I guess the fish in the room. Yeah, it smells. Let's not pretend it doesn't. It smells exactly like liquefied fish, because that's what it is. When you first open that bottle, the smell can be potent. Some gardeners say it's one of the worst smells in gardening. But hey, That's part of its charm, right? It's not some sanitized chemical product. It's a raw, powerful, natural amendment. And the smell just proves it's the real deal. But don't worry, the smell usually fades away pretty quickly after you apply it in the garden, especially if you water it. Your mileage may vary depending on the weather, but give it a few hours to a day and you'll hardly notice it. And who knows, that fishy smell might even keep a few curious rabbits or squirrels away for a little while. Before we go any further, you should know about its close cousin, fish hydrolysate. You might see both on the shelf and they look similar, but there's a key difference. Fish emulsion, like we said, is usually made with heat. Fish hydrolysate, on the other hand, is cold process. It uses natural enzymes to break down the fish, and that gentler process preserves more of the good stuff, the oils, amino acids, vitamins, and proteins. It's kind of like cooking vegetables. If you steam them like hydrolysate, you keep more nutrients than if you boil them for an hour, like emulsion. Both are fantastic options and will give you that nitrogen punch we're after. Emulsion is way more common and usually a bit cheaper. Hydrolysate is often seen as a more complete whole food for your soil, feeding the beneficial microbes even more effectively. For this video, we'll just call it fish fertilizer. But just so you know, if you can find a cold processed hydrolysate, you might be getting an even bigger bang for your buck. Either way, you're tapping into a legendary fertilizer that stood the test of time for a very good reason. The science simplified, why it creates explosive growth. So what's the magic in this fishy brew? Why does it have this reputation for making plants just take off? Well, it's not magic at all. It's just simple, awesome biology. It all comes down to the nutrients it provides, and just as important, the form they're in. When you look at a bottle of fertilizer, you see three numbers, the NPK ratio. That stands for nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, the three big nutrients that plants crave. A typical bottle of fish emulsion has a ratio around 5:1 or something similar. That first number, the N for nitrogen, is the big one here, and it's the main reason for that explosive growth we're talking about. Let's break down what these do for your plants in simple terms. First, nitrogen. N. Think of nitrogen as the gas pedal for green, leafy growth. It's a main ingredient for chlorophyll. You know, the green stuff in leaves that lets plants turn sunlight into energy through photosynthesis. Not enough nitrogen and plants look pale, yellow, and small. Give a plant a good dose of nitrogen it can use right away, and it's like flipping a switch. The plant immediately starts making more chlorophyll, which means more photosynthesis, more energy, and more power to build new leaves and stems. This is why fish fertilizer is so amazing for leafy greens like lettuce, spinach, and kale, and for getting young plants established fast. That big 5 in the NPK is a direct order to the plant: grow. Second is phosphorus. If nitrogen is for growth up top, phosphorus is for the powerhouse underground and for making flowers and fruit. Phosphorus is absolutely critical for developing strong, healthy roots. It helps seedlings build a solid root system so they can anchor in and pull up water and nutrients from the soil. It's also vital for flowering and fruiting. So while there's less of it in fish fertilizer, that little 1 or 2 is giving crucial support for your tomatoes to set blossoms and your peppers to form fruit. Third, you've got potassium. Think of potassium as the plant's general health manager. It helps regulate all the internal systems, like the movement of water and nutrients. Critically, potassium strengthens a plant's cell walls, making it tougher and more resilient to stress from things like drought, heat, pests, and disease. It's like a boost for the plant's immune system. That little bit of potassium helps your plants get tougher and better prepared for whatever the season throws at them. But the NPK numbers are just part of the story. Because it's made from whole fish, fish emulsion is loaded with other essential micronutrients that plants need in smaller amounts. Things like calcium, magnesium, and sulfur. These are like the vitamins for the plant world. And finally, maybe the most important part, it's a liquid. The nutrients in granular fertilizers are locked up and have to be broken down by soil microbes over weeks or even months. But the nutrients in fish emulsion are already dissolved in water. That means the second you water your plants with it, those nutrients are immediately available for the roots to suck right up. There's no waiting. The plant is hungry, and you're delivering a nutrient smoothie directly to its doorstep. This immediate availability is why the results are so fast and so dramatic. You can often see a difference: greener leaves, new growth in just a few days. You're giving them exactly what they need, when they need it, in a form they can use instantly. That's the science behind the explosion. The step-by-step guide to using fish fertilizer. Alright, you know the why. So let's get to the how. This is the fun part. Using fish fertilizer is super simple, but getting a few details right will make sure you get those amazing results without accidentally hurting your plants. Here's your complete guide. Step 1. Get the right stuff. Like we talked about, you'll see fish emulsion and fish hydrolysate. Emulsion is common and works great. If you happen to find a cold processed hydrolysate, it might be worth grabbing for the extra benefits. For today, we're just using a standard easy to find fish emulsion. A super popular brand is Alaska Fish Fertilizer, with its classic 5:1 ratio, but any brand with that high first number will do the trick. Step 2. The golden rule. Dilute, dilute, dilute. This is the most important step. I can't say it enough. This stuff is concentrated, and if you use it straight from the bottle, you will absolutely fry your plant's roots and could kill them. You have to dilute it with water. The standard recipe couldn't be easier. 1 tablespoon of fish emulsion, concentrate per 1 gallon of water. That's it. I highly recommend getting a watering can just for fertilizer. Slap a label on it with a Sharpie so you don't mix it up. Fill your 1 gallon can with water first, then add the tablespoon of fish emulsion. This little trick helps it mix in better and keeps it from getting all foamy on top. Give it a quick stir with a stick, and you're good to go. It'll look like weak, muddy tea. And yep, this is when you'll get that signature aroma. Just embrace it. Step 3. How to apply it. There are 2 main ways to use liquid fertilizers: a soil drench or a foliar spray. You just water the base of your plants with your diluted fishy tea. The goal is to get those nutrients right down to the roots, where the plant can absorb them most efficiently. Pour it slowly and evenly around the base of the plant. For a medium-sized tomato plant, maybe use about 1/4 of a gallon. For a little lettuce plant, a cup or 2 is plenty. You're basically just swapping out a regular watering for this supercharged one. This is what you should be doing 90. The second method is foliar feeding, which is just spraying the diluted mix directly on the leaves. Plants can absorb some nutrients through tiny pores on their leaves. The idea is that it's an even faster way to fix a problem if a plant is looking really stressed or yellow. However, a lot of studies show that the huge majority of nutrients are taken up through the roots, and that foliar feeding is way less efficient. So here's my take. Stick with the soil drench as your main strategy. If you have a plant that looks extra pale and you want to try giving it an immediate little pick-me-up, a foliar spray won't hurt. Use a clean spray bottle, mix up your solution, and lightly mist the leaves tops and bottom. Just be sure to do it in the early morning or evening, when the sun is low, to avoid any chance of leaf burn. Think of foliar feeding as a little snack, while the soil drench is the main course. Step 4. When and how often. Timing is key. You want to feed your plants when they're actively growing. Applying every 1 to 2 weeks is a great schedule during the peak growing season. For heavy feeders, I'm talking tomatoes, peppers, squash, corn. You can lean towards that once-a-week schedule. For less demanding plants, every 2 weeks is perfect. Some research has even shown that applying it twice a week can give the most growth. But for most of us, once every week or 2 is a great, easy routine to follow. Start feeding your new transplants right after you put them in the garden. It helps them get over the shock and establish strong roots fast. Keep it up through spring and summer. As things cool down in the fall and plant growth slows, you can back off on the feeding. What can you use it on? Pretty much anything that grows. It's especially awesome for leafy greens. Your lettuce, spinach, kale, and chard will get so lush and dark green. Heavy feeding veggies, tomatoes, peppers, corn, cukes, and squash will thank you for the nitrogen. Young plants. It helps seedlings and transplants get established and put on new growth fast. Flowers and ornamentals. All your annuals and perennials will love the balanced nutrition. Houseplants. Yep, you can even use it on your indoor plant. Just be warned about the smell. Maybe take them outside for feeding day or open a window. The raccoons might not be a problem in your living room, but your roommates might have something to say. Hey, just a quick pause. If you're getting a ton of value out of this and you're getting excited to try this in your own garden, do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button down below. It really helps the channel out more than you know, and make sure you don't miss our next garden experiment. Alright, let's get back to it. Okay, this is really important. We need to put this powerful tool in the right context. Fish emulsion is an incredible fertilizer. It's a sprint. It provides that fast, immediate burst of energy your plants need to perform at their best. But a truly healthy, resilient garden isn't built on sprints alone. It needs a long-term strategy. It needs a marathon. And the marathon of gardening is your soil health. Here's how I think about it. Fish fertilizer feeds the plant directly. Compost and other organic matter feed the soil. And healthy soil is the foundation for everything. Soil that's teeming with microbial life, worms and fungi is what will sustain your garden for years to come. That rich ecosystem creates natural fertility, holds onto water better and builds plants that are naturally tougher against pests and diseases. Fish emulsion is a supplement, not a replacement for good soil practice. You should absolutely keep adding beautiful, rich compost to your garden beds every single season. That compost will keep breaking down slowly, improving your soil structure and providing a long-term balanced source of food. The organic matter in fish fertilizer does give a little snack to the soil microbes, which is a great bonus, but its main job is fast-acting plant food. So the real secret sauce here, it's using both. Use compost to build the foundation, the long-term health and structure of your soil. Then, use fish emulsion during the growing season as a targeted, high-performance supplement to give your plants that extra fuel when they're working their hardest. When you use both, you're covering all your bases. You're building a fundamentally healthy soil ecosystem for the long haul, while also delivering the immediate, ready-to-use nutrients your plants are screaming for in the short term. This balanced approach is the real secret weapon. It's not about finding one magic bullet product. It's about understanding what your garden needs and using the right tools at the right time. So after all that, let's circle back to the original question. Is fish fertilizer the secret to the most explosive growth your garden has ever seen? My answer is a definite yes, but only if you use it the right way. It's the secret weapon for giving your plants a fast, powerful, and organic shot of the exact nutrients they need to grow lush, green, and strong. That high nitrogen, quick-acting formula really can make your plants look like they've doubled in size in just a few days. If your plants look pale, if they're growing slow, or if you have heavy feeding crops that you want to push to their absolute limit, then fish fertilizer is one of the best tools you can have. But it only lives up to the hype when you use it correctly. You have to dilute it properly. You should apply it consistently when your plants are growing. And most importantly, it has to be part of a bigger plan that focuses on building amazing soil with plenty of compost and organic matter. So here's what I think. Go grab a bottle. Don't be afraid of the mix up a batch in your watering can and give your hungry plants the meal they've been waiting for. Then just watch what happens over the next week. Watch the leaves get a deeper shade of green. Watch for all the new shoots and stems. Take your garden from good to great. Add this to your garden and I think you're going to be blown away by the results. You will see your plants explode.